I think we know what's going on in the college football world with NIL. Something throws up, like we see what happened at Tennessee. Were you surprised by that? And is it just one of those things where we're learning as this thing goes along?
I don't think it should surprise any of us, right? We can talk about this forever, but we're trying to build an NFL system in an amateur model, and we don't have rules, we don't have regulations, and we don't have leadership in one position that controls all of us. And so you're going to continue to see more of this, and there's two people to look at in this situation. The young man, you can't blame him for what he's doing, and you can't blame Tennessee for what they're doing. The leadership and how we got to this position is who to blame. Both of them are doing what they think's best for themselves or the university. So until we get the amateurism out of what we're trying to get accomplished, and we get leadership, we're just kind of all rolling with the punches.
Do you find that some of the money being thrown out in reports, or maybe in reality, is overstated? And is it going to come down to earth? Because it looks like he may not be getting as much money as he was getting in Tennessee.
So a year ago, 2 years ago, and maybe even up to 3 when this first started, the money, in my opinion, was blown out of proportion, and it was not what it said it was. It is now. We've seen the contracts on the majority of the young men across the country that even if they don't come here, their agents have provided us with the contracts and showing us what other schools are paying them. So the money now is accurate. It's hard to believe, but it's accurate.
How tough is it when you think about it too, when you have a coaching staff that's getting paid less than the athletes? What does that mean for college football? It's a different world than 5 years ago.
It's interesting when you think about it, but I'm going to go back to what I said originally. This is a professional sport now. We just haven't said it is, okay? And when you're in a professional sport, the people that are actually going out there and competing, and in football, the gladiators, the one that are taking all the beatings, they're the one that are going to make all the money for the most part. And so as we migrate toward whatever system that somebody decides we're going to use, it's going to be that way, and it's going to continue to grow because this is an entertainment business. The fans show up to watch the players, not the coaches. And for that reason, now that this has become what I call a professional sport where you try to get an education, it's going to be that way.
At any point, based on your college career, have you ever thought, damn, I was born in the wrong decade?
No, because if I'd have had that much money, I'd never have made it. I'd been history. John, I'd been like the guy that played at A&M, Johnny Manziel, probably. I'd have blown him all my money and no telling what would have happened. So I'm glad that I didn't have that much money.
You made up for it on the coaching end of it.
Well, yeah.
I mean, in terms of being born at the right time.
No, that is true, yeah. Okay. Well, I've been lucky. I've been very fortunate with what I've been able to earn and really never had a real job. But I don't know that I would have handled that amount of money very well.
How much of a boost was the concerts for you guys?
I can't hear you.
How much of a boost was the concerts for you guys?
Well, the concerts were tremendous for the state of Oklahoma, for Stillwater, for Oklahoma State University. I don't have any idea what the total revenue is. I know that they said that the entire operation, Kyle Waters did an unbelievable job of running it. We were very lucky that we had him, what he was able to pull off. We had, I think the first night they had 5 arrests, the second night they had 7. The third night, on a Saturday night, they had 4. And then I didn't get the news on a Sunday, but when you talk about 60,000 people being here, 250,000 people roughly, in that type of environment, we didn't have any issues at all. It was a great accomplishment, and I think it's something that we should do every year, regardless of NIL. I think it's good for the community. I'm sure the vendors in Stillwater were excited about it. There were people from all over the country here. When we were finishing practice, I'd walk out to my car. I think it was Saturday, and they were tailgating out here, and they had a Nebraska flag. You know, Nebraska people came down here, and they excited about the concert. So I don't know that we could say it was anything other than a huge success.
You were backstage some with the performers with your introductions for CCR. The guy from Turnpike Troubadours, they're a pretty good band. They're going to England in June.
Yeah,
He stood out there and said, thank the audience that these have been the best 3 shows of my life. Did you get that feeling backstage? They were
yeah, you know, the first night I was there, because they hadn't performed, Ragweed hadn't performed in 15 years together. And so it was almost like the Blues Brothers, you know, they were getting the band together and they were a little bit nervous. And then when they got out there and they got rolling, and then every night they just got more confident. But Turnpike and Canadian, those guys were so excited to get back into the flow, and the crowd was very accepting of them, and they just fed off their energy, in my opinion.
How about the quarterbacks?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing good. I mean, I watched them really close today. It's not that nobody's stepping up, it's just that all of them are playing pretty good.
How are you feeling about Saturday?
Excuse me?
How are you feeling about the fan day on Saturday?
Well, I shared with the staff a little bit this morning. I'm going to go over it again with them tomorrow, that this team needs to play a game, and we're going to play a game. We're going to split teams. We're going to split coaches, and we're going to play a real game. This team needs to play a game. I need to see them play a game, and I made that decision yesterday, and I haven't shared it with the staff. In fact, this is the first time I've mentioned it, but we're gonna officiate it. We're gonna split the staffs up. We're gonna call plays. We're gonna play. In my mind, I'm thinking. No, I'm thinking 3. I'm thinking 15, 15, 15 with no halftime. To me, halftimes on spring games are bummers. A lot of people leave and everybody's just sitting around. Mom's got little kids and they're wanting down on the field. So I'm not for sure yet, but I'm thinking a 15-minute quarter, 15-minute quarter, and a 15-minute quarter, because that should be about an hour and 15 minutes ish, which is about what we need. I'm gonna get with them in the morning, and we'll split teams up, and we'll have a kickoff, we'll do kick return, we'll do punt return. I want to see everything right now with these guys. There's so many new players that have played and competed well in practice, and I don't know anything about them, so I want to see them play in a game. So we're gonna play a game.
You want to go equal, or are you going to try and go 1s versus 1s, 2s versus 2s?
No, we're going to split, just like we did my first 4 or 5 years here. We'll let the coaches draft players, and we're going to split the team, and we're going to play a game. I want to see them play a game.
Obviously, that's a reward for the fans. What about for the players? That's got to be exciting for them to get to actually compete like that.
Well, they'll love it. They want to play a game. They just soon come out here and scrimmage all day. They love that. So it's good for them. I have to make decisions on what's best for us, not always for them, but it's good for them. And I think the fans will like it. There's been such negative response across the country about spring games and spring finales and spring whatever you call them anymore. My buddies, my cronies I grew up with, they text me all the time articles about how negative everybody's being with spring games. So middle of last week, I started to think I need to see these guys play a game, and then the fans want a game anyway, so I'm thrilled for the fans to make them happy. But more importantly, this team needs to play a game, and we've held up from a health standpoint that we can do that. The majority of the years, we didn't have enough big guys to play a game because in the off seasons when they get their shoulders repaired and they can't play. But we're 3 deep in the offensive line. We're 2.5 deep in the defensive line. So we got plenty of guys. So we should be able to play a full game and keep score and just not have a half, just play straight through. And at the end of 3 quarters, I say that, but we'll finalize it here after I talk to the staff. At the end of 3 quarters, somebody's a winner and somebody's a loser. The winners get lobster and steak, and the losers get hot dogs. I would prefer to eat hot dogs. But, so we're going to play a game.
What's the
biggest thing that you get out of that? You said you want to see these guys play good. What do you get out of that?
I haven't seen 32 of these guys play, and in my mind, just counting roughly, 26 of the 32 guys that are here are going to be in a position to maybe contribute to help us next year. And I need to see them play in a game some, because I'm trying to figure out, whenever we have a personnel meeting on offense and defense, when they tell me what they think, I need to know if I agree with them or not.
You worry what Matt Rule talked about? People poaching?
Sure, yeah, I do. And, I mean, you always worry about the same things people bring up. You worry about poaching. You worry about somebody getting feeling like you established a depth chart and left me off the depth chart, and you worry about getting somebody banged up. I get all that, and those are a concern of mine. You know, as a head coach, those things keep you up at night. But we need to see them play a game. They need to play a game. I think it's good for our team. I know it's good for me. The players want to do it, and I think the fans will love it. I think the fans will show up to be able to watch us play a game. So,
have you thought through the weather situations yet?
I saw it. Yeah, you have a 29% chance of rain in the morning up till noon, and you have an 84% chance of thunderstorms after 12 o'clock. So, if we feel like that it stays consistent like that, we may back it up till an 11 a.m. kickoff. I'd like to do it at 1 o'clock, but obviously I've lived in Oklahoma a long time, and I know what happens when the humidity starts building in the afternoon in Oklahoma. And if they say it's in the 80s and 90%, we'll move the thing back a couple hours and try to get it in prior to doing that. The rain doesn't bother us. I don't want that for the fans, but obviously thunderstorms are going to send us into the locker room, and that's not what I want to get done. I thought about moving it to next weekend, but they're talking about Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, rain all the way through. When they say that in Oklahoma in the spring, that usually means it's going to be a steady rain. Yeah. So I have thought about it. Right now we're going to go at 1 o'clock. If there's chances of thunderstorms goes up and stays high, we can back it up to 11.
Will a game bring a level of intensity that just isn't in practice? Is that part of the reason you want to see it? Or?
In practice, are pretty intense. But it's different when you go out and get ready and you just stretch, you go play a game, and people are watching you, and coaches are off the field, and you don't have any help. You're out there on your own. So that's what I'm wanting to see, and that's why I think we need to play a game, and we're healthy enough to play a game.
You mentioned being...
Portal officially opens tomorrow. Do you foresee any big movement, either going in or out from your team?
It'd be a crystal ball, guy, if you had that. You know, the portal eventually is going to get to where nobody really even talks about it, because it's just going to become a part of college football. You would say percentages will tell you that we'll have 3 or 4 or 5 guys go in and pick up 3 or 4 or 5 guys. I mean, that's kind of what you do now. Maybe we have one, maybe we don't have any, I don't know. But I don't have any idea if there's anybody that's mentioned that they were going in it from our team.
If they haven't already, you feel like if they're going through these spring practices, you feel like you know where their heads are at?
I have no idea where kids' heads are at. I wish I could tell you I did, but I have 0 idea.
I know the rules in recruiting. You can't talk about kids that commit until they sign in December. What's the portal rule? I mean, you've been active here. Can you talk about guys that have, or do you even know the rules?
Nobody knows what the rule is, because they sign now. You know, guys that are so-called committed are signed.
Right.
So there's a more binding factor there than there is with high school players, with the exception of they could sign and then turn around and leave, because there's nothing binding even with the portal. So I'm not sure what the rules are, and I don't think anybody else knows.
Why not talk about them until they get here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what committee would do anything about it. What are they going to do?
Well, I know, but I mean, for you...
That's why I still think next Saturday we should go scrimmage OU. I mean, what difference? What are they going to do to us? Put us on double secret probation? I mean, you know.